The gloves are off. Banished from Royal Lodge, Fergie holds the secret code to the palace. A tell-all interview is imminent, and a former royal aide just issued a doomsday warning. The king has a state visit next week. Will Fergie blow it out of the water? Heartbreak: the royal reckoning, the psychological fallout of Sarah Ferguson's potential bombshell interview studio microphone. Former Royal Press Secretary Ailsa Anderson has warned about the potential consequences if Sarah Ferguson sits down for a tell-all interview following Prince Andrew's exile. A former employee of the royal family has suggested that they may know of the true repercussions should Sarah Ferguson deliver a bombshell tell-all interview. The impending interview looms large not just as a financial lifeline for Sarah Ferguson, but as a cataclysmic threat to the stability and public image of the British monarchy. The sheer weight of speculation surrounding the former Duchess of York's next move highlights the deep-seated anxiety within the palace walls. Ailsa Anderson's warning is imbued with the gravity of an insider who understands the mechanisms of media crisis management within the royal household. This potential interview is not a minor scandal. It's a high-stakes emotional gamble where Fergie, armed with decades of intimate knowledge, could choose to settle scores or secure her financial future at the expense of the institution that cast her out. The domino effect: banished, broke, and ready to talk. After the public banishment of her former husband Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, there has been a great deal of discussion about what lies ahead for Sarah. Ever since Andrew was stripped of his titles amid ongoing controversy surrounding his connections with the late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, questions have emerged about the couple's future plans. One potential scenario involves the former Duchess of York sitting down for a candid interview that could potentially expose senior royal family members. The forced exit from Royal Lodge represents the final stage of Sarah Ferguson's marginalization. Her situation is emotionally complex. She remains fiercely loyal to Andrew, yet her own financial stability is precarious, especially without the shared housing arrangement. This vulnerability creates the perfect storm for a tell-all. The public's curiosity is insatiable regarding the Epstein fallout, and an interview where Fergie discusses the true nature of Andrew's banishment and the royal family's involvement could be perceived as the ultimate act of self-preservation. Psychologically, the royal family's attempt to distance themselves from Andrew and Fergie has only amplified the market value of their secrets. Revolving light: the insider's panic, doom and gloom, and the state visit threat. Discussing this prospect, Ailsa Anderson, who previously served as press secretary to the late Queen Elizabeth II, cautioned it might prove damaging to the royal family. On the Sun's Royal podcast, when asked what advice she would offer if news emerged of Sarah planning an interview, Ailsa revealed, "Firstly, doom and gloom. You'd have to see what she's going to say." Ailsa's raw and immediate emotional reaction, doom and gloom, speaks volumes about the visceral fear of a former aide. She details the palace's standard crisis playbook. "I think never do a knee-jerk reaction. Don't be painted into a corner and then asked to do something immediately. You see what she says, analyze it. What you don't want to do is add fuel to the flames of anything that she has said and prolong a story, so I think it would very much be dependent on what she came up with, but it wouldn't be good news." The most revealing aspect of Anderson's warning is the direct conflict it poses with the king's official duties, and it distracts from all the good work the royal family are doing. "You know we've got a state visit next week. What you don't want is her blowing that out of the water by giving an interview." This comment highlights the emotional and strategic danger. A state visit is crucial diplomatic and soft power work for the monarchy. A bombshell interview by Fergie would not only distract from this work but could hijack the entire global media narrative, turning a diplomatic success into a conversation about scandal and dysfunction. This is the ultimate test of the monarchy's crisis management, neutralizing a former member intent on talking. The fast buck or the final fall, Richard Fitzwilliam's assessment. Ailsa isn't the only royal expert to discuss the possibility of a tell-all interview. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams has explored what tactics she might employ. He told The Express, if she is after a fast buck, she might well go back on Oprah or choose another outlet. This would give her publicity. Fitzwilliams frames the issue around money and platform. A move to a high-profile platform like an Oprah interview would guarantee maximum exposure and a massive payday, providing the fast buck needed for her financial security. However, he introduces the element of her past history. In the past, she was able to make comebacks after she was hit by scandals and was admired for this, with charities deserting her after it was proved that she lied regarding her links with Epstein. This is the psychological anchor of the commentary. Fergie has a history of scandal and bounce backs. Yet, the current crisis is different. Richard suggested that the magnitude of this latest setback means it will be nearly impossible. He explained, this seems highly unlikely. It depends on what her priorities are, how much money she actually has and what her plans are. We will doubtless discover soon, she was a disaster as a working royal and is totally shameless. Fitzwilliam's final, brutal assessment, calling her shameless and a disaster as a working royal, reflects the deeply divided opinion of the public and the media towards her. While her resilience is noted, the severity of the Epstein taint makes the path to redemption, and thus the value of her charitable work, almost non-existent. The emotional calculus for Fergie is stark. The only currency she has left is her story. And given the financial pressure, the probability of her leveraging that last asset grows exponentially.